Kingstream Entertainment. Ruslan.
Speaking of doing good work, speaking of not conforming to the ways of the world and knowing who we are, knowing who our identity is, knowing how we are supposed to be functioning in this thing. Sometimes as creatives, as Christian creatives, again, I'm primarily speaking to Christians. Okay, so if you're not a Christian, stuff doesn't really apply to you. But if you are a Christian, hear me. Sometimes we get tempted to adjust our methodology, to impact more people. I did an interview with I'm Rescued. You guys should check it out. I'm Rescued is a worship rap artist. And we were talking about this idea of the algorithms and YouTube and who does YouTube put your content in front of. And a lot of us who are believers, we want to reach those who are far from God. We want to have dialogue. We want our message and our music to impact people. And we were going back and forth, and I was kind of pushing back, and I said, listen, the algorithms aren't set up that way. You have to be aware of the algorithms. You got to be aware of, like, they're going to push this stuff in front of people that they're already consuming. And in the process, I played an I Am Rescue song. You guys should really go watch that video. And it hit me with this epiphany, this X factor of, if you make music that's dope enough, if you make art that's dope enough and goes deep enough with people, they will do the marketing for you. They will do the storytelling for you. And so my brother Datin came out. And he said, yo, it's crazy. I woke up to a text message this morning of one of the biggest rappers in the world knowing who I am and having shared my music to someone else I was talking to. I'm going to read you guys his tweets, and then I'm going to give you guys a little bit more insight because I talked to Datin. Check this out. This is Datin from God Over Money, friend of the show's, friend of mine. He says, I woke up to a DM on IG this morning that blew my mind. A homie of mine that's very dope and is about to pop off in the mainstream sent me a screenshot of a text combo he was having with one of the biggest, most successful artists to ever live. In the thread, out of nowhere, this huge artist tells my homie, yo, I ran across this dude I think you should collab with on some woke-ish. My homie asked who it is, and this huge artist texted him a link to a music video for my song called Hallelujah All Day. That's a very explicitly Christian song. The huge artist told him that we would sound good on a record together because of our voices. I won't share who they are, but my man asked me not to share a private conversation, da-da-da-da. My point is this. This huge artist is the top of the top. His music is the total opposite of mine. He would be the last person on earth that you would expect to not only listen to Hallelujah All Day, but share it with another secular artist and suggest that we collab. Hallelujah All Day is overtly Christian. It's a message, it's unapologetic and uncompromising. I myself would never play it to a non-believer if I was trying to witness to Christ, but God. So I'm about to spill the beans on some plans I had for an upcoming project. I have been working on an established secular producer on a project. The plan was to take this to my secular project with the hopes of casting a wider net to reach more. Okay, he's thinking about adjusting his methodology, right? He's thinking about adjusting his methodology to reach more. Listen, the intent is good. Hey, I'm gonna kind of adjust some of my content. I'm gonna adjust some of my messaging to reach more people, right? And he's partnering with this secular producer. And then in the midst of this, he says, my mindset was still reaching people. But of course, because the audience would be different, my approach would have to change as far as how direct about the gospel I can be. So I thought the screenshot from arguably the best MC ever and also one of the most successful artists of all time suggesting Hallelujah All Day to someone reminded me two things. One, you never know who is listening. And two, just do what God tells you and stay out of the way. In my mind, I could change this or not, reach the world because they will think Christ-centered music is corny. But this situation proved me wrong. That song is 4 years old and made an impression on somebody many would demonize this morning. I'm just sharing this to encourage a lot of the CHH artists. And I retweeted it. And this is what I said. Let me find my retweet of it. I said this. I said, God exists and does work outside of algorithms. Stick to your guns, kids. Don't be incongruent. Follow your vision. Anything is possible. There's no magic formula in 2020. Make your product so good that people do the marketing and storytelling for you. Now, I talked to Datin since offline. I can't give you the details, but let me tell you something. I saw the screenshot. I know who the artist is. Yeah. Biggest in the game. I can't say much more. I can't say who's I can't go into that. I seen the screenshot. I got the screenshot. It's crazy that this artist would be sitting around. This isn't somebody trying to navigate it. This isn't somebody that you would ever assume would be sitting around listening to Christian hip hop. And they're aware of what Datin is doing. And this is where the X factor comes in. This is where the X factor comes in of, listen, I could sit here and I could be intentional and I could make good videos and I could make good music and all this kind of stuff. And I could be very particular about all these things. But at the end of the day, God could do what he wants, and he could put someone like Datin, who's an overtly Christian rapper, Christian hip hop artist, and he could put someone like that. And the screenshot is, I saw the screen and it's literally, yo, you should collab. This is from the big artist icon who I can't name, literally saying, yo, you should collaborate with this artist, Datin being this artist, on some woke-ish. Right? First of all, woke, that's hilarious. Like, the song is called Hallelujah All Day. It just shows you that he ain't really in the whole CHH thing. You don't really know what's going on. I was like, yo, this is crazy. This is crazy. And listen, this is where God goes beyond an algorithm. This is where man's wisdom and man's system doesn't compare to how amazing and incredible the goodness and the reach of God is, even when the algorithm doesn't play to our favor. Even when on paper, I could talk to I Am Rescued, who's one of my favorite new artists, by the way. Y'all go watch that interview that I did with I Am Rescued. I talked to him and I tell him, I said, listen, man, like the algorithms is not going to play for you. You're not going to end up on these R&B soul playlists. Your stuff is going to be in front of people who listen to Christian music. But I didn't factor in that, one, God can do anything, and that, two, a lot of the people can be the hands and feet and use the music as almost like a track, right? And then once it gets big enough, it could pop up in people's algorithms, right? And so this whole thing is wild. I've been kind of getting this right. And it's like, listen, not a whole lot's changing for me or anything like that. It's just some of you guys are like, yo, I want to make overtly Christian art, or I don't want to make overtly Christian art. It doesn't matter. Do what you believe God has called you to do. Stick to your vision. Don't switch up. Don't be incongruent. The fans will sniff you out. They'll know. Be as authentically you as you can possibly be, to a fault. So if you're that guy that wants to quote a bunch of Bible verses in your stuff, then do that. If you're that guy that wants to write songs about your marriage and write love songs, then do that. But don't limit God. Don't limit what God can do. Don't limit the reach that you could have and conform to the ways of this world. I'll read this verse one more time to you guys, right? Do not conform to the pattern of this world, will be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. And then let's go to 2 Corinthians again. 2 Corinthians 9:8. And God is able to bless you abundantly, so that in all things, at all times, having all that you need, you will abound in every good work. You stay faithful to the every good work part. You stay faithful to doing what you feel God's called in front of you to do. And just know it's going to take time. Me and Datin been at this thing for a long time, guys. We ain't no young whippersnappers running around here, making wavy auto-tune music. We've been at this for a minute. I mean, Datin was on 106 and Park battling 15 years ago, 20 years ago. My first record came out in 2004, right? You guys are seeing decades of work and being faithful. It's going to take time, but it doesn't mean that you can't get to where you want to be. Again, what are you good at? What area of expertise do you have? Where's their need in the marketplace, an opportunity, right? And what are you passionate about? The world's going to tell you, just follow your passions, listen, love basketball. I'm very passionate about basketball. I'm not that good at it. I'm all right. I ain't got no expertise, and there's no need for Armenians to play professional basketball, right? So figure that out for yourself. This is not telling all you guys to go be rappers or go be YouTubers, but figure that out. Figure that out in the marketplace. Stick to your vision. Stick to your plan. Stick what God showed in front of you. And I believe that there's abundance. I believe that right now, because of the specific time that we're in, a lot of what I'm saying, guys, is contextual to the era that we're living in. I'm not making absolute statements for everybody everywhere. I'm saying specifically for those of us that are in North America, if you are of able body and sound mind, there's opportunity here. And it may not be you doing your own thing initially. You might go work with someone else. Instead of being an entrepreneur, you may go be an intrapreneur in someone else's organization for a season, learn everything you can, understand how it functions, develop some good skills, and then launch into your own thing. I worked at my church until I was 30, right? I'm 35 now. I worked at my church until I was 30, and then I quit and went full time. And that church job where I was an entrepreneur inside of a bigger organization, man, that was the best training I could have had to transition into what I'm doing now, where I'm now self-employed. King's Dream is great, grossing 6 figures consistently every single year since I quit my job in 2015. God is amazingly good, but goodness, it was hard to get here. It was hard. It was a lot of work. So know yourself, know what you want to do, know what you're good at, see the opportunity, see the marketplace, stick to your guns.
King's Dream Entertainment. Ruslan